Hi everyone, Brian Maloney here, Principal Percussionist with the West Australian Symphony Orchestra and Chair of Percussion at the University of Western Australia Conservatorium of Music. I just wanted to share with you my 5 top tips of playing percussion and getting ready for an audition, whether it be getting ready for an ATAR exam or getting ready for a university audition or even getting ready for a professional audition. The first tip that I have for percussionists wanting to do any of these is to always practice with a wide dynamic range. I think this is something that is often overlooked when playing percussion, but it's actually one of our greatest advantages. So when I practice, I generally, if I'm doing a warm-up or scales or rudiments, I generally tend to try and find the biggest dynamic range possible. So let's say we're playing paradiddles. I start out very loud, diminuendo to pianissimo, and go back up to fortissimo, like so. This gives us the technical facility to play a wide range of dynamics and a wide range of music, so it's something that's extremely important. My second top tip for percussionists practicing for auditions of any kind is to divide up your practice evenly throughout the day. So what I mean by that is don't just play snare drum straight for 2 hours. Divide it up into different categories. So play snare drum for 30 minutes, play a mallet instrument for another 30 minutes, play timpani for another 30 minutes, switch it up between 2 mallets and 4 mallets. That way you keep your brain engaged and active and you don't become bored. It's a vital part of what I do in the orchestra and even teaching at UWA, where we have to change things up very often, and so it's very beneficial to engage your brain and switch it up as much as you can. My third tip for percussionists when practicing is to make sure that you maintain a loose grip at all times and a loose technique. So oftentimes we find ourselves getting into a very difficult passage in music on any instrument. And our first instinct is to tense up and grip the sticks really hard. The problem with that is that because there's so much tension in your body, it makes it difficult for us to play these passages with ease. So when I practice my scales and my arpeggios and my rudiments, I always try to maintain a loose grip, so much so that I can imagine someone being able to walk up to me and grab the stick right out of my hand very easily. If you practice this daily, you'll be able to gain a lot of speed and a lot of dexterity so that you can play fast passages that you might find in, say, a xylophone rag. My fourth top tip for percussionists is a very simple one. It's just simply to use a metronome all the time when practicing. However, sometimes I find that we don't use our metronome to our full advantage. So when I practice, I like to set my metronome at a high subdivision and then incrementally lower that subdivision and cut it by half so that I know that my subdivisions are still correct, but I'm not relying on the metronome. So it would look something like this. Start at tempo equals 208. Then cut it in half to 104. cut that in half. And then cut that in half, so on and so forth. Finally, my fifth top tip for percussionists getting ready for auditions, whether it be ATAR or university or beyond, is to have fun in the preparation process, and most importantly, have fun on the day. I know that sometimes this can seem quite difficult and daunting, but the reason that we play music in the first place is to make us feel good, and also to make the listener feel good. So I think it's really important to go into your audition with a sense of confidence and a sense of stage presence. And if you do that successfully, it will come across in the audition and likely serve you well.
Thanks for listening to this video. We'd love to see you in music if you're at UWA. You can take music as a major or you can take it as a broadening student. Check out the list in the description below for the broadening units that we offer in music. We have ensembles such as orchestra, wind orchestra, jazz band, we have percussion ensembles and choirs, all sorts of ways in which you can engage with music, and we would love to see you in the music department if you're at UWA.